Hello everyone, welcome back to the Regeneration Marathon. This is day 17 and we're covering Born Again and the Christmas Invasion. If you haven't joined us for any of the previous days, then check them out. We've had a lot of fun marathoning the Regenerations. But once again, I'm joined with Luke.
Well, I woke up today.
Did you? In a restless
Yeah.
place?
It could have been that way for me.
Ah,
Then I started to walk.
pretty
Should we just do
soon
this?
you'll start running.
Yeah. And I'll come running back to you because we got a video to record.
Oh yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh yes.
Oh, we're getting into even more nostalgia now, aren't we, for us?
Yeah.
Because we grew up on Chris Eccleston, David Tennant, didn't we?
Face of childhood.
Recently, it's I've come around on Tennant even more. Like, I never disliked him.
I did.
But, yeah. The old stick in the mud.
Well,
Yeah,
I've got my reasons.
do you want to share them?
Well, I was a big fan of Matt Smith, and I was fed up of people pooing on Matt Smith, saying, "Oh, Matt Smith's rubbish, Dave Tennant's better." I was like, "No, Matt Smith's." So I naturally got a hatred for Tennant, just because of that. Even though I loved David Tennant as a kid, I was like, I'm just gonna stick up for my boy Matt here.
Yeah, you sort of sometimes you could get into those opinions that you don't even believe in, just almost on a principle, can't you?
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
then we had like the big finish announcement in 2016, and then I was like, I'll watch a few of his episodes, and I just fell in love. Going, my God, Doctor Who was good. I had it good. My childhood was brilliant, and then I just fell in love with Tennant again, and ever since he's sort of been a main staple in my Doctor Who diet.
Yeah. I sort of almost had more of an inverse of that. Like we mentioned yesterday, I was more, in the Eccleston camp for ages, and so
Yeah.
many of my friends on the playground were like, "Oh no, I love Tennant. He's so good. I'm so glad we got him instead of Eccleston." And I'd be like, "No, I wanted more Eccleston."
Yeah.
And so, there was always that sort of resentment there of Tennant for that. And, I always would have had Eccleston being my Doctor. He was my favourite new series Doctor for a long while. But, like, very recently, like, maybe since lockdown time, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't. Something's just really clicked with Tennant.
It's having all those new Big Finish. It's having all
Yeah,
like
that-
Dalek Universe. You're like, oh my God, I feel like a kid again. This is brilliant.
And I wonder if maybe it's certain events as well that have particularly tainted the Christopher Eccleston era and made some
Yeah,
stories
It's true.
a bit less appealing to rewatch. Whereas, I mean, certainly similar things impacted some of Tennant's episodes as well, but not as many.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, just series 4 in particular, it was such a good time to be alive, for one thing. But also, just there's so many good stories in that, and it's just so much fun watching Tennant. I'm so glad we're getting him and Catherine back now.
Yeah.
It feels so right, and I'm just falling in love with his Doctor all over again. And he has really shot up my list recently. Like, it's hard to really keep track of a proper list when it comes to Doctors, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
Once you get to
I
your
feel-
top 5, I kind of get really hazy.
Yeah, same. I mean, I feel like maybe Tennant's now got into he's certainly in the top 5, maybe top 3. Yeah, I'm in love with Tennant at the moment, and
Who isn't?
I'm not ashamed of it. Yeah,
No, I'm
I
in the
feel like-
Tennant camp.
yeah.
I'm
I mean, I
excited
feel
for that.
like we sort of had a similar thing back in 2013 of Tennant coming back and not any other classic Doctors or anything, where you sort of resent him for being the most popular one, for being like the one that the Tumblr fangirls loved and
Yeah.
such. But, there's a reason he was so popular. It's because he was so bloody good.
He is very good.
Yeah, and it's just so much fun rewatching so many of his episodes. This one included, but he's not in much of it.
Yeah. It's not really Tennant's introduction story.
It's
Because-
much more about Rose dealing with losing the Ninth Doctor, isn't it?
Arguably, Tennant's first story is School Reunion.
I mean, I think that was the first one he shot as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I
Because,
think-
like, New Earth, he's Cassandra. Then he's, like, doing, like, the Scottish accent for Queen Victoria. So it's not until you get School Reunion
I've been
where you get...
chasing this wee naked child all over hill and over farm or whatever it is.
No, Don't do that. Don't do that. No.
Oh
Oh
dear.
dear.
Yeah, I know what you mean though. It certainly gets off to an interesting start and quite an exciting one as well, because there's this dark red. You don't know quite who he is for those first few episodes. Yeah, certainly when he gets the chance to make an impression, like he does with the sword fight at the end, he does make a strong impression as well.
Yes. I think the reason why people gravitate to Tennant more than Eccleston is, especially for like our generation of fans, is because he's a very physical doctor. You know, the running, and as a kid, you do a lot of running in the playground. So I think that appeals more to kids, really.
Yeah, I suppose there's a bit more energy.
Yeah, he's more Tigger.
Yeah,
whereas
like you can certainly have him bouncing over things. He'd run.
Yeah,
but not quite with as much energy to him.
I think Eccleston, you appreciate Eccleston as you go older because of like the level of performance and the characterization there, whereas Tennant, as a kid, you get the face value of what his character is.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's one who, that trauma of the time war is still there, but he's less shackled by it now, isn't he? He's started to heal a bit more, and so that allows some wonderful moments, some wonderful humour throughout his era of him as the Doctor. And I think it certainly peaks when he's with Donna, isn't it? And it can just be two mates having fun.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, we're sort of covering 2 episodes here again, aren't we? Because we also have a little special they did, the first Minnesota, I suppose, unless Dimensions in Time coming in again to
we always mention this now, yeah.
Sort of, that might be the first, but yeah, we have the first Minnesota of the new series proper, Born Again. It's all. It was never actually called that though, was it officially? I don't think.
No, I don't think so. No.
Yeah, it's just the Children in Need special, but yeah, it was. You know, those first moments for the Doctor and Rose after parting of the ways, bridging the gap up until Christmas Invasion. And so for incarnations of the Doctor played by David Tennant, they have to have a little post-regeneration story that takes place outside of the main show, isn't it? So I'm not sure whether Minnesota quite counts as expanded media.
Yeah, I would say it is expanded.
Yeah, certainly in some ways. But yeah, certainly not part of the main show. But yeah, obviously at the moment we have a run going on in the EWM with the 14th Doctor, who is also played by David Tennant.
Called Born Again.
Yeah,
that's the working thing. I mean, time this goes out, the second issue is probably out, so you probably know who the big bad is.
Yeah, but we'll keep stum on that for now.
Yeah.
We don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, this, funny enough, wasn't actually filmed with Christmas Invasion. They went back and did this while they were doing that big production block of Rise of the Cybermen, Age of Steel, Army of Ghosts and Doomsday, which I suppose allows Tennant to be much more comfortable in the role now.
Yes, yeah.
And you can, I mean, do you want to give us a very quick synopsis for Born Again? Because there's not much to it. I mean, 5 minutes once you get past the previously section. Yeah,
it's basically Doctor and Rose coming to terms of the Doctor's new face saying, "Can you change it back?" Yes, he can.
Yeah,
yes,
aged can. Like milk that has.
Yeah, and it's basically, let's see how fast the TARDIS can go. I know, Rose. I'll give you a treat. Let's go Christmas. That's
Cancels
it.
Barcelona.
Yeah, and that's it. That's pretty much it.
It's like that nice little tantalizing tease to tide you over, isn't it, until Christmas Day? And I think it's a nice way to say the show's still here and we're coming back very soon, so stay tuned, isn't it, really? Because it would have been about a month before by then. Yeah. Children Need, which for us is tomorrow.
Yeah.
As we are recording this. But yeah, it's just a nice little episode, really, and one I haven't watched for a long while before we did this. This
was new Tennant for me.
Yeah.
Because this is I saw it in 2012, because I somehow missed Children Need back in then. So this is a completely new thing for me, because I remember seeing an image in Doctor Who magazine going, what? I've never seen this photo of Ten and Rose before, and then discovering it on YouTube and going, wow, it was like a missing episode for me.
I had the whole of Children in Need recorded on a videotape,
Yeah.
and so I would have to stick that on, fast forward to the right part of Children in Need where, David Tennant came on, and then watch those 7 minutes, rewind it back again so I could watch him again. That was, I mean, goodness knows where that tape's gone now, probably taped over with something else eventually. But yeah, that was how I had access to this while I was younger, because it never came out as a special feature, I don't think, did it?
Yeah, it's on the Series 2 box set.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Did you manage to miss that then?
I got the vanilla releases.
Oh,
it wasn't until they started doing the steelbooks when I got it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's not like what they've done with the collections now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, actually, the steelbooks and collections started relatively same time, didn't they? Or at least going back.
Yeah,
to
the
Series
steelbooks
1.
were a year before. They were 2017. Yeah. Well, 2016 Series 9, but like the new series being reissued was 2017.
Yeah, there we have it. But yeah, it's just wonderful having that little bit more of David Tennant, isn't it? I mean, I sort of had a similar experience recently, even with a deleted scene from Runaway Bride. Do you know the one where they're
car?
Yeah. Did you not see that until recently?
No.
I remember that made the rounds on Twitter, and that was insane. Seeing just a bit of new content. We're going to be getting even more soon, so we are
brilliant. We're eating good with Tennant.
Yeah. But Christmas Invasion itself, what are your memories of this story?
I remember hating it.
Really? Is it because of the lack of the Doctor?
It was that, and I want Eccleston back.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So I've always been really iffy on Christmas Invasion. Like, it's one of those stories where as a kid I tried watching. It was always one I'd skip over because I just genuinely didn't care for it.
Yeah, trauma.
Yeah, pretty much. And as a kid, you're not really watching it because it's Christmas Day. You've got your Dalek battle pack. You're not really fussed.
Maybe I was helped there by the fact that I did get to watch Born Again when it came out.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, yeah, Born Again probably would have been my first Doctor Who related thing I watched live. That's an interesting bit of trivia.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you weren't here yesterday for Series 1, I didn't quite catch that live. I ended up rewatching, if not all of that, on the DVDs, the individual volumes. Yeah. So that was something special. And I suppose Christmas Invasion would have been my first full episode I watched live. So that's got a special place as well. But yeah, for me, I remember really enjoying it. It's something so quintessentially British Christmas about it, isn't it? It feels so real.
An alien invasion?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Just the way it portrays Christmas, the fact that it's not this fairy tale, it's something very down.
It's a dreary day.
Yeah, it's a clear blue sky, but you can feel the cold. It's that sort of day. It feels very real. There's no frills to it, is there? And I think there's something about that just, brings me back to my childhood a bit watching this one, more so than a lot of other stories from this era. I mean, they all do it in their own ways, but I feel like this one in particular brings me back to that day on 2005. Yeah. I mean, what little bits of trivia do we have for this one?
Well, we have the 10th Doctor's accent is because it was an imprint of Rose, but it was taken out of the edit. I think Tennant said in an interview on the 23rd of December, on doing the press rounds for this story, that it's because of he's not keeping the Scottish accent because of the imprint with Rose, but it was put back in the novelisation of the Christmas Invasion. Yeah.
Speaking of said novelisation, that also included Born Again, so it was like one long story there. I know. Born Again itself, it's sort of this nice little bonus, but you don't necessarily need it, do you?
Yeah.
It's like there for that tiding over of Rose, but the story still works just as well, picking up from where Parting of the Ways left off.
We have our first interactive Doctor Who adventure in the form of Attack of the Grass, which was the BBC Red Button thing. As soon as the Christmas invasion finished, you could have your own adventure and be the companion with the Doctor.
That was something very weird looking back. So
Yeah.
very interesting. It's a shame that we don't still get things like that, really.
Yeah, it's just a nice little bonus.
It's just the way technology's gone, isn't it? And viewing habits have gone. There was much more room for experimentation back then, as we weren't quite in streaming territory yet, were we?
Freeview was just coming into it now, I think, really.
Yeah. But now, so like, the red button's almost something that's been forgotten about, because you might as well just go on the internet now. Like, that's so much more readily accessible.
Yeah.
I think it's still there for some things. I feel like for football games, they allow you to like be on one channel, but switch which game you're watching sometimes.
I don't know. It's football.
Yeah. I'm not a Doctor Who fan. Expert either.
I don't know what football is.
This is just something I pick up from the rest of my family occasionally.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
But not we.
Yeah. The episode opens with a recreation of the shot from Rose. The opening shot of Rose. But instead, we zoom in on a Christmas tree this time. I'm sort of skipping ahead to the synopsis at this point. But we'll get to that very soon, don't worry. But yeah, any more trivia for us before we do dive into that?
We have the return of Agador's lullaby with God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen.
Yeah. I mean, but in terms of Christmas, this is the first episode to air on Christmas Day since 1965 with the Feast of Stephen. I mean, we sort of had, Unquiet Dead being a Christmas episode, but that wasn't aired anywhere near Christmas Day. Yeah. And I don't think any other Doctor Who story on TV touched Christmas, did it?
I think there might have been the odd few. Not come close, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe come close, but I don't think any classic Who stories really went in that direction. Certainly nothing pops off the top of my head. But yeah, New Who, meanwhile, would very much continue in this direction, because we get a special every year until 2017. Until 2018, technically, was when the first year without one.
Yeah.
Because instead it switched to New Year's after Stephen Moffat fought to keep the Christmas slot. Yeah, we'll see if we get that back soon with Ncuti's first episode.
I can only hope.
Fingers crossed for that. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, speaking of Christmas, this is our first proper bit of Christmas for the Regeneration Advent Calendar. Being an Advent calendar, you think there might be a bit more Christmas here, but we work with what we're given. You had 10th Planet with the snow and, a cheeky reference from Ben to Father Christmas on his sled. But here we're finally getting into proper Christmas territory, aren't we? And rightfully so, because we are now on the approach to Christmas, or at least you, dear viewer, are. We've still got a while to go. We are still in November currently, because we got to record these in advance, otherwise it would be very impractical, to say the least.
So we've briefly talked about the opening, how it mimics Rose with the zoom into the Earth and the Christmas tree. So, do you want to carry on from where you started?
Yeah, we'll do. We got a bit ahead of ourselves there. But yeah, it's a nice little callback, isn't it, that opening, before we instead get the Christmas tree, and then Jackie, while decorating it, hears that the TARDIS starts to materialise. Meanwhile, Mickey's listening to some Slades and working in his garage. Well, not his personal garage, but you know what I mean. He overhears the TARDIS too, and so he and Jackie run out, meet up to say they've heard it, but where is it? And then finally we have a very unconventional landing, sort of set up by the fact that the Doctor was messing around with the TARDIS a bit too much in Born Again, as the TARDIS appears mid-air, flies down, knocks some Christmas lights down, and finally crashes into some bins. This strange man walks out in a leather jacket, very confused, wishes Jackie and Mickey a Merry Christmas before collapsing onto the floor. Rose then pops out they ask her, "Who is this strange man?" To which she replies, "He's the Doctor." And then Jackie says, "Doctor Who?" And, what better way to cut into the opening titles than that? So they bundle him up, get him in one of Jackie's friends, in quotation marks, pajamas and dressing gown. A friend who likes to hide fruit in his dressing gown for when he's hungry in the middle of the night.
Strange Howard.
That's it, Howard. And then, he is dumped in the flat, but he is giving off energy. His regeneration's gone slightly wrong, and he is breathing out into the stars and attracting something quite wicked towards the Earth. Meanwhile, is it Guinevere 1?
Yeah,
Space probe? Yeah. Is heading towards Mars to take pictures of the Martian surface. Or is it? Yeah, it's Mars.
Yeah.
It's taking pictures of. But on its way, it bumps into something else and they lose contact with it. And so when contact is finally re-established, they are instead met with the faces of some alien beings. And so Prime Minister Harriet Jones, yes, we know who she is called in alongside UNIT to deal with this first encounter with a new alien species. There's a wonderful line, isn't there, where the scientist behind Guinevere 1 says, "Could it be Martians?" And the UNIT commander says, "Of course not. Martians look completely different." And it's just so matter of fact. And it's something that I didn't really get at the time because, hadn't been that much into Classic Who, didn't know about the Ice Warriors. But now it just tickles you that much more to know what Martians actually are in Doctor Who. Meanwhile, some other creatures have come along. The pilot fish, as they are nicknamed, because they are fish that swim alongside the bigger threat, aren't they?
Yeah.
They have come to scavenge. They try to get the Doctor. They're disguised as Father Christmases and attack Rose and Mickey while they are on the hunt for a Christmas present for Jackie. Meanwhile, Jackie's got a new tree in the house, but it's a bit more menacing than it might first appear, as it starts spinning like that guy from the Daleks Master Plan, one of the delegates. Well, that's sort of a bit of a thanks to Big Finish thing, isn't it?
It is.
Retconning that in there. But yeah, we always said he looked like a Christmas tree. And so, it's very iconic, a lot of this story, isn't it? Like the spinning Christmas tree. Jackie's like, "I'm going to get killed by a Christmas tree."
That was shown on Jonathan Ross, that clip, to promote it. Yeah.
It's brilliant. Russell knew what he was doing, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just this wonderful moment. And you got the music there. It's hilarious, but also quite horrific as well. Like, you see it shredding through the wall and such. It could do some damage if that gets to a human being. They are not coming out of that very well. And so Rose whispers, "Help me," into the Doctor's ear, puts the sonic screwdriver into his hand, and he awakes. He uses the sonic screwdriver to blow up the tree, and then the pilot fish retreat because the Big Daddy fish has arrived, hasn't it? Or is soon to be, because when it breaks through the Earth's atmosphere, it shatters a lot of glass with a sonic boom. Also, the creatures on board the Sycorax are using blood control. A third of the population is now getting... Well, there's sort of an ultimatum before this, isn't there?
Yeah.
Because we don't have the TARDIS here, it's quite clever how the story uses that. And so, from Harriet Jones's, yes, we know who she is, point of view, she is, having to translate it manually, or her people are, to work out what the Sycorax are saying, which is something you don't really get too often in Doctor Who.
No.
Those almost realities of facing an alien species. She also wants Torchwood prepared just in case. And so we were introduced to that before, back in, you say the long game, didn't you?
Yeah, the long game on the screen.
Yeah, is where that's first name dropped, and then later in Bad Wolf as well. It's one of the questions for um, the weakest link, or well, the answer to one of the questions for the weakest link game. But now we get our first proper solid reference to it, and know that it is a thing in modern day. We don't know quite what it is yet, though. But yeah, they are standing by, ready to do something, but we're not sure quite what yet. And so,
Yeah, because they're utilizing all the stuff from Guinevere 1, aren't they?
yeah, there was some blood aboard that. And so everyone with that blood type has now been hypnotized to stand on the go up to the roofs, stand on the edge, and if the human race doesn't agree to the Sycorax's commands, then they will all jump and a third of the population will die. Uh, but yeah, that's the threat, isn't it? A third of the
Mm.
population or half gets sold into slavery. That's the bargaining they're using. And so Harriet Jones and a couple of other personnel get teleported up to the Sycorax ship, and two of them get dispatched off pretty quickly, don't they?
Yeah,
I mean,
they do.
it's quite horrific how the bones just fall to the floor there. That's
They're like the Dalek extermination effect, but the flesh is all melted away.
yeah. I mean, there's something somewhat horrific about that as a child, isn't there? I feel like
Yeah.
with a lot of these ones around this time, I see this as more horrific because I'm still viewing it through that lens of being younger.
Mm.
I remember how it felt seeing that for the first time. Whereas with a lot of other, there's certainly much more stuff in outside of Doctor Who I've seen that is much more disturbing than that. But it doesn't quite hit you the same way because, you're not viewing it from that lens of being a child at the time. Uh, but yeah, so Rose decides that it's not safe for the Doctor to be out there. Let's hide him in the TARDIS. Let's fortify there. Jackie wants to bring some provisions with her, and so she gets left outside when the TARDIS is detected by the Sycorax, and they beam it up with Rose, Mickey, and an unconscious Doctor on board. Rose steps out to see what's taking her mum so long, not realizing they've been teleported, and is grabbed by a Sycorax. Mickey hears her scream, and so charges out after her, dropping some tea along the way, some of Jackie Tyler's tea, and it spills, and the smell, it sort of drips down onto a bit of the TARDIS machinery, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that starts to steam up a bit. But yeah, the smell is now making its way into the Doctor's nostrils, I suppose is the best way to describe this. Rose tries to bullshit her way into making the Sycorax leave by throwing some random words at them. But at this point, as the Sycorax talk back to her, they start to sound a bit more familiar, don't they? They're speaking English now. Sycorax leader isn't very happy with this suggestion. I would never dirty my tongue with your mongrel dialect, or whatever it is he says. But yes, and this makes Rose realise that, something's clicked there. She worked out before that the Doctor was part of the translation circuit, and with him out of action, it is broken. But now he is waking up, and so, did you miss me? He says as the TARDIS doors open to reveal his beaming face.
Us in 2022. Yes.
Very much, yes, very much so. And this is very much where he takes command of the story. Up until this point, it's been much more Rose's story, hasn't it? And it's been about dealing with how the Earth responds to such a situation without the Doctor. Harriet Jones even puts out a plea on TV instead of the Queen's speech. To say, help us, Doctor. We need you in our hour of need.
Well, they're all family, all on the reef anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite a amusing little line, isn't it? So finally, the Doctor is back in action. He's not taking any of the Sycorax's bullshit. He works out that the big red button of the blood control is just a bluff. It's just a parlor trick, isn't it? It can't actually be made to coerce someone to do that much against their will, I believe. And so he presses it anyway, and they're all snapped back to reality. And the Doctor then ends up challenging the Sycorax leader to a one-on-one sword fight for a planet. And so they take it outside after a little while. The Doctor gets his hand chopped off. It falls down to Earth, picked up by Captain Jack at some point, presumably. Or did they reveal quite how it
No,
got from
don't
there to
think
the
so.
Torchwood Hub? It just, yeah. I suppose maybe with Torchwood 1 being around there, maybe it landed right on top of Canary Wharf. uh, Maybe they scooped it up and then eventually it got transferred over to the hub after the fall of Torchwood 1. That would have been nice, wouldn't it? If it was just hidden in the background somewhere during Army of Ghosts and Doomsday and the Doctor didn't even notice it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so because he is still within, is it 14, 12, 15, however
It's
many
12
hours.
hour regeneration, isn't it?
Yeah, he's still within enough time that his body's still cooking, and so he's able to grow a new hand. But not just a new hand, a fine hand. And I mean, back to the hand cut off moment. It's a bit of a weird visual, isn't it? The fact that there's no blood there whatsoever. Like, not even on the dressing gown sleeve or pajama sleeve.
It must be a good sword.
Yeah. Don't let the swords touch your skin. Wrong story.
Oh.
Well, anyway. So the Doctor is then able to defeat the Sycorax leader, but he's a bit of a sore loser, so he comes after him anyway. The Doctor throws his Satsuma at a control on the wall. Part of the ship comes away underneath the Sycorax leader, and he falls down to Earth. Presumably Torchwood picked him up as well, or scraped him up.
What a Val Calacris he is.
Yeah. That's interesting, actually. The Doctor's hand survived that fall. I say maybe it's because it's less mass. Maybe that's...
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe it's because it's a Time Lord hand. It's still regenerating. Maybe it would have grown a Meta-Crisis Doctor had it not been for that fall.
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows? But yeah, and then the Doctor, Jackie, Rose, and Mickey share a lovely Christmas dinner. While Song for 10 plays, while I woke up today, the Doctor chooses out his new outfit in the TARDIS wardrobe, which is, the only time we get to see that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's been mentioned before in the Unquiet Deads. Yeah, this is the first time seeing it proper, and it's quite impressive. I think, wasn't there a cutout as well, or like one of those cross-section books I remember having, where you could see a whole lot more of it and other bits
Probably.
Yeah. There's like this. I remember this massive spiral staircase going up the middle of this structure, and so much else being around there. Yeah, it's that wonderful little glimpse inside more of the TARDIS that's always wonderful. And then, I've completely skipped over something there. Quite a big moment for Harriet Jones. Yes, we know who she is, because as the Sycorax leave after their leader is defeated, she orders Torchwood to fire upon them because, she wants people to know, the alien races to know that the Earth is armed and defended, and they're not going to back down. She doesn't want to risk another time where the Doctor isn't around to save them. But, the Doctor, with them being a retreating alien race, isn't very happy with this, so tells her that he can bring down her government in just 6 words. Don't you think she looks tired? And, that drives her into a bit of a frenzy. We see that she's not doing so well. There's some suggestions about her health on the news. Her reign as Prime Minister is coming to an end. I wonder if she lasted longer than Liz Truss.
Oh, God knows.
Who knows? But yeah, certainly it's not looking good for Harriet Jones as the Tylers celebrate a Christmas dinner. And then some snow starts to come down, but it's not actually snow. It's ash from the breaking up Sycorax ship in the atmosphere. And, the Doctor decides that it's time for him and Rose to leave now, to go pick a direction and explore, because he's not seen the universe yet, not with his eyes. And it's wonderful closing moments with him, isn't it? As he said, it's going to be fantastic. And yeah, that is the Christmas Invasion. Get the credits, and then we get that lovely Series 2 trailer. It's like the first 5 episodes, isn't it?
Yeah, I love how...
6?
Yeah, because of Cybermen, yeah. I love how it uses, like, bullets can't stop them from tooth and claw on the Cyberman reveal.
Yeah, that's true.
So
it's a nice
clever.
little bit of misdirection.
Yeah.
I think it shows that in marketing, like, with recent years, with the Whittaker stuff, they've been very stingy with a lot of their marketing, haven't they?
Yes.
They're sort of hiding almost too much. Whereas I think moments like that show that you can almost give away a lot and nothing at the same time.
Yes. Which is Russell's very good at.
Yeah. And I mean, what a wonderful trailer that was at the time, and still is. It's still a lot of fun to go back to. But yeah, Christmas Invasion now. I've given the synopsis, so you can let us know what you think about it first.
It's all right, isn't it?
I feel like I'm a bit more positive on this one than you.
Which
makes a change. I feel like you're usually the more positive one with these.
I enjoy it, but it's not an episode I'd happily put on. If that makes sense. That's okay.
Do you feel like it has to be Christmas time for this one, or is it just?
I'm a big believer that I only watch the Christmas episodes in December. So I've broke my own thing to do this series.
I'm going to be breaking it again very shortly.
Yeah, it just feels wrong for me. I feel like I've got to save these for December, and I've not like Christmas Invasion. Not my favorite Christmas special.
No,
somewhere in the middle for me.
I feel like it's a pretty good one for me. But yeah, I do. Yeah, I do probably enjoy other ones more though. I mean, I feel like Runaway Bride might be a bit more fun.
Runaway Bride's more of a romp.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
Which is what you want for Christmas. You want something light, and I think that this is sort of heavy for a Christmas Day thing.
Because it makes you wonder how it's going to be handled with Shooty's post-regeneration story. Because I feel like post-regeneration, you always have to do something slightly more heavy.
Yeah, but then again, I think that the Doctor's barely in it, so it feels a bit of a wasted runtime, really. But yeah, I don't know.
Oh. I think it's quite nice getting to see how the world copes without the Doctor for a while, and how the scale of this threat is shown throughout the story.
That's all brilliant points, but I'm here for Doctor Who.
Scale is something Russell always got very well, wasn't that?
Yeah, definitely.
And that's portrayed very well with how it's shown this threat all around the world, as well as just in the UK, where it's very much centered as a threat. But yeah, it is nice seeing, because we've built up this family dynamic with Rose, Mickey, and Jackie over the course of series 1.
Yeah.
I mean, with a family, it's always nice seeing that at Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something right about that I don't think you really get in any other Christmas specials.
No.
Just because of the very nature of a lot of them, you don't have a known quantity there. You know, and so this is the only Christmas special that really gets to focus on family.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very nice to see. And it's also good seeing Rose's perspective on that, how, you know, Christmas sort of becomes a non-thing because traveling in the TARDIS, you don't really have that same perception of time passing as people in real life do.
Well, I think this is the last story where it's from Rose's POV, isn't it, really? This sort of concludes series 1.
Yeah, that's true. It is more of like a epilogue to series 1 than a opener for series 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, even tonally, it does feel more series 1 than 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoy this one. I have a very good time with it. And I mean, are we ready to rate it, or?
I mean, I love the Sycorax. I think the design still holds up. I was happy to see them in Revolution of the Daleks, and I think that they should return. Personally.
Yeah, there's definitely room to do more with them. They were originally going to have more than one be maskless, weren't they? But then they realised the prosthetics were just too expensive, and so the rest got stuck in masks. And there's quite a nice reveal there where the Guinevere 1 scientist is like, oh, that's just a mask. They might look like us underneath. And then, no, it's like this skeleton outside of the, on top of the flesh, isn't it? It's a very gruesome design.
Brilliant.
And very much suits that space Viking style piratey marauder look, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can imagine like the whole black magic element of them, really, in it.
Mm.
Yeah, it's great. I do like it.
Yeah, and there probably is a lot more that can be done with the Sycorax at some point. There's perhaps an interesting mythology to be dived into there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do sort of clash a bit with Christmassy setting, I suppose.
Yeah.
They're not sort of the villain you'd expect for Christmas.
But again, the Christmas specials, like Christmas is just set dressing for these specials, really. It's just like an event happening at this time of year.
That's true. So, yeah, I mean, for me, ratings-wise, I'll go an 8 out of 10 for Christmas Invasion.
Okay.
How about you? That's it full.
I'll go 7.5.
That's fair.
Still solid.
Yeah. I mean, what is your favourite Christmas special out of curiosity?
You say A Christmas Carol.
But that is a good one.
I do love that one a lot.
That's my favourite De Moffat ones.
But then again, I quite like the Snowmen because I feel like I just like the whole whimsical fairy. Like I feel like it's a nice blend of Moffat's fairy tale. Like I love the visual of the TARDIS on a cloud. Don't know why, but it just makes my heart happy. That.
I suppose you've also got the more horrific side of a fairy tale there as well, don't you?
Yeah,
like the Grimm's fairy tale style.
Yeah, with the Snowmen. Yeah,
and the Ice Mistress as well.
Yeah,
that's quite horrific looking back. That someone drowned in that pond and is now okay. Yeah, that's wow. Anyway,
yeah, that's
Christmas Invasion.
Yeah,
that's a wrap on Christmas Invasion, really, isn't it?
Pretty much.
I mean, yeah, we're not done with Christmas yet though, because tomorrow, end of time, Christmas and New Year's rolled into one.
Oh yeah,
I feel like that's one where Christmas is very much more set dressing, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but this gateway's going to happen on Christmas. Yeah.
I mean, for that one, do you break your rule of watching it outside of December?
No.
Really?
Because it aired in December.
But you can get away. Do you only watch Hellbent in December? It aired in December.
True. You got me there.
Can you not watch part 2 of End of Time until it's New Year's?
I did watch it, funny enough, New Year's Day.
The
other year.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm just weird like that. Like I have to save those stories just for one time a year.
No, that's fair enough. Well, I'm sorry that you're going to have to watch it slightly. It's November.
Yeah, you can get away
Christmas
with it.
stuff in the shops, so you can watch Christmas special.
I'm just a bit superstitious like that.
Yeah. Join us tomorrow for, well, not David Tennant's last story, as it would happen.
He'll be back.
But his last story as the 10th Doctor, at least chronologically, because he came back again for Day of the Doctor, which we did a couple of days back.
It's all timey-wimey.
There's a lot of David Tennant on this.
Not complaining.
Rightfully so, to be fair.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So join us tomorrow for the end of time itself.
Spit everywhere.